What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie, and today we're going to be talking about a blueberry muffin tea and the Pliot Night fountain pen. So much like the tea in the TWSBI Classic video, this is also a fall limited edition of David's tea called Blueberry Muffin. And it is a fruit infusion blend, which is one that I typically don't go for, but I thought, pull the trigger on this one. It goes, how do we like to start our mornings? With the blueberry muffin, of course. And with apple, raisins, carrot, and blueberries, this sweet and slightly tart tea is the breakfast of champions. The ingredients are apple, raisins, carrot, hibiscus blossoms, beetroot, yogurt bits, blueberries, cornflower blossoms, natural and artificial flavoring. Warning, contains milk. So this tea basically is what it says. It's blueberry muffins. It is definitely a little tart, kind of like when you eat blueberries, you're always going to get that tart one that kind of makes your face go like... and it's definitely got that. It's a fruit infusion, so there aren't really like tea leaves really. And this is what they were talking about when they said yogurt bits, these white pieces here. These are what give sort of like a slightly creamy sort of flavor to it. Whereas the blueberry, apple, and hibiscus give more of the like fruity tart flavor. That is supposed to blend all together and make it taste like a muffin. Now, it's not exactly like eating a muffin, but it's close. I like it. It's not one that I would probably buy again, but one that I'm certainly glad that I bought so that I could try it out. There are a few blueberry flavored teas that they have all year round, and this one doesn't really differ from those too drastically to make me want to stock up on this in comparison to the ones you can get all year round. That said, I would recommend it if you haven't had any of the blueberry ones yet, because this is quite a tasty one. You basically take 1 to 2 teaspoons that I just dropped of this, put it into boiling water, let it steep for 4 to 7 minutes, and you will have a caffeine-free tea. I let it steep. You can use this one, excuse me, hot or iced. It's delicious both ways. I tend to prefer this one iced because that little bit of tartness comes out of it. In which case I basically let it steep the entire time that I'm drinking it. But if I'm going to have it hot, then I usually let it steep for about 3 to 4 minutes, because the longer you let it steep for, the more that tart flavor will come out and mask the sweet, slightly creamy flavor. So definitely keep your eye on that. You can put sugar in this if you desire as well. I don't particularly like to put milk in fruit infusions, but you can definitely do any sweeteners or things like that. And with that tea, I have paired the Pliot Night, which I've had in my collection for a very long time, but one I don't tend to go towards ever, / I also lost it for about 6 months. So there's that. But I have found it, so I decided let's talk about it. It is the stainless steel version. You can get tons and tons of finishes, but I got this one way back when because it was the least expensive. So the top of the cap, you have this kind of like chrome band here that leads into the clip. So you can actually see it here. So the clip itself is just spring-loaded. It's pretty tense. I like it. It's definitely not going to go anywhere. Coming down the cap is really just a matte finish. It does have the word Japan written there, which you can't quite tell, and the word Pliot written there as well, which you'll be able to see it in a moment in the close-up. It continues coming down the barrel of the pen towards the end here. It does taper slightly and has a shiny chrome bit at the end, but basically it's a fairly demure pen. There's nothing really flashy about it. It is a snap cap. You can hear that. And it does push to post. However, I do not recommend pushing to post because this cap has so much weight in it that even when it's like capped like this, it's top heavy. Like the weight of the cap is absurd. But once you take that off, like I would dare to say that the weight of the cap is basically the same, if not more than the weight of the pen itself with the converter and it's filled. So very heavy cap. But I don't need to post it. I find it quite comfortable to not post it. People with really large hands that typically do post, you would maybe want to try this out before you do anything, because if you do hold your hands fairly far back so that it rests here, it may not be so bad. But to me, it's unwielding when it's posted. Like, it's just so back heavy. So I don't. The section here has a fairly sharp step down. You definitely do feel it because of the way the cap snaps on to make a flush finish here. So again, if you do hold your pens really far back, you will feel that step. And it's not unpleasant, but it's certainly noticeable. So it would probably annoy you. And it does have a fairly small or fairly short grip section. I do like the fact that it's a little more girthy than I would have expected on a pen this size. So I do appreciate that. But it is short. So for long writing sessions, my thumb does tend to slide back a little bit onto that step. And it does bother me ever so slightly, which is probably why it's not in my rotation all the time. But that said, it's not too bad for medium to short writing sessions. Unscrew the barrel. It comes with the Pliot Con 20, so it's the squeeze bladder, which I won't do because I have ink in it. Has the squeeze bladder mechanism here. It does take the Pliot Con 50 as well, and I would imagine it takes the new Con 40 also. It's a metal pen, so you can't eyedropper it. The nib is the same nib that you would get on like a Pilot Metropolitan. It's wonderful. It's very smooth. I like the fact that it's wet. No hard starts, no hard skips. I really, really like it. It's a steel nib, but to me, I prefer these nibs over like a TWSBI nib or anything like that. So I have no complaints about that. One thing I will say though is that ink sometimes can get pulled into the cap because it is a snap cap. That suction motion of the cap pulling off can sometimes pull ink to the nib, which has its pros and cons because it means that it's always going to start for you, but sometimes you will get ink in the cap, so you'll just have to flush that out when you're cleaning the pen. But overall, I dig it. Price-wise, US, you're going to be looking at about $45 retail price. Canada, you're going to be looking anywhere around $60. For the stainless steel version. All the other versions, like the resin finishes and everything like that, are going to be different pricing. That is just for this pen in particular. But let's jump into the writing sample and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. All right, so we have a medium steel nib on this Pliot here, and the ink for today is platinum pigmented rose red, if I can remember correctly. I wasn't expecting to like this ink. This is a sample ink, but I really do. Just, random thought. The pen is actually decently wet. I really enjoy that. Because I hate dry nibs. They are just the worst thing. It is still a steel nib, so you're not going to get like a crazy amount of line variation, but you can still squeeze a teeny amount out if you try super hard. As far as reverse writing goes, you can, but it feels very scratchy and it's just not pleasant at all. And like I said earlier, I've never had any problems with hard starts, skips, anything like that. It's just a really nice writing experience, especially for a steel nib. Now, one question I know I'm probably going to get from you all is that if you get the same nib in this pen that you do in the Pilot Metropolitan, why would you pay more for this pen over that? I think that's just because of the finish that is on it. The build quality is a little bit better. You get the same converter, same everything else. To be honest, I would say to just get the Pilot Metropolitan because you are basically getting the same writing experience for a third of the cost, basically, with the Pilot Metropolitan over this pen. However, you get more of a like just the different style pen with this one here. So, you know, especially if you really like Pilot pens and you kind of, you know, want to collect the different kinds, and this one's definitely a good one to go with. But that's totally up to you. That's just my opinion. And look, I even smeared the ink because it hadn't dried yet. This is Clairefontaine paper, by the way. But that's going to be enough for me today. Guys, if you like the video and haven't done so already, please hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't yet to either. That way you won't miss any Monday or Friday videos that come out, and the occasional Tuesdays as well. Hit up the comment section. I do read them all and I answer them all as soon as I can. And as always, I will see you guys next time. Bye.